guys, today I'm going to talk all about beauty sponges, beauty blenders, dupes, alternatives, the original, all kinds of things. I've seen a lot of videos discussing dupes for the beauty blender and alternatives, but what I wanted to do today is give an overview of lots of sponges. Today I have all of these sponges to talk about. Some of them are excellent, some of them are okay, and some of them are terrible. All of the information on prices, links, everything like that will be down below in the video description. So I'm going to kick things off with the original, which is this. This is the original beauty blender sponge, and this is probably, yeah, it is my favourite one. The sponge is teardrop shaped, and originally it comes like this and it expands to reach this size. You hold these underwater, squeeze them a few times until they absorb the water, squeeze all the water out, and you've got yourself a badass sponge. And you can use these to apply your foundation. So I apply my foundation with a brush usually, and then buff everything in, concealer, everything, just melt it all into my skin using this. However, this morning I applied my foundation with the beauty blender, like actually instead of a brush, just so that you could see what it looked like. As you can see, it's really easy to apply. Everything kind of blends into the skin, your under eye concealer. These sponges give a very natural look to your skin. So if you've got under eye concealer, here I'm using a particularly intense kind of heavy duty under eye concealer, which can sometimes look a little bit cakey or crease under your eyes. And if you use something like the beauty sponge, the dampness of the sponge, not wet, that's really important, you've got to make sure all the water's out, but the dampness of the sponge just helps to buff everything into your skin, and it all looks very natural and glowing. The thing that makes this sponge excellent for me is the shape. First of all, this point here is large enough to buff out the product, but it's also narrow enough, and it comes to a narrow enough point that you can really get underneath your eyes and in between at the sides of your nose, in between the kind of creases in your face. Creases? Didn't sound very good. Then you've also got the sides that you can use, you know, if you want to apply something quickly. And my favourite part, which is the bottom, which is very squishy, as you can see. You can really push the product into your skin and make it look very natural. So I'm a big fan of this sponge. I really like it. The next sponge that I'm going to talk about is this one. I bought this one from Amazon, and I'll leave the link to it below. This was a lot cheaper than the beauty blender, a lot cheaper, and they are fairly similar in size. This one doesn't expand as dramatically as the beauty blender when you put it underwater. It doesn't arrive as small as the beauty blender does. It just kind of expands a little bit and gets more spongy, but not to the extent of the beauty blender. And you can see you can't really squash it down as much as you can the beauty blender. It's got more resistance to it. So the sponge in the beauty blender is much more malleable and cushiony. This one is a little bit firmer, but it isn't hard. You can still buff things out on your face. It's still pleasant to use, but it's not a complete dupe for the beauty blender just because of that sponge. The point at the top, it's wider as it goes up to a point, whereas you've got a slightly more narrow one here. You wouldn't think that would make a huge difference, but it does in areas such as under your eye. Pros are it's cheaper than the beauty blender, but the cons are that the sponge isn't as squishy, it doesn't expand as much. The shape is pretty similar, size is fairly similar, and again, that point isn't quite as refined as the beauty blender one, but it's still a good sponge. The next sponge that I'm going to talk about is the Cosmopolitan beauty sponge. Now, I've had this for a long time. I bought a few of these a couple of years ago, and I've had some in the packaging, I've thrown some away. So I did buy this quite a long time ago, and it's really stood the test of time. It's got a few like tears in it now, but it's still usable. I've put it through the washing machine several times. Not sure you're meant to do that, but hey, it's still here, it's still kicking. This was, I believe, about £5, but I cannot find these online anywhere. So I don't know, it's a bit of a mystery, this one, as to whether you can still get it. But you can see that the shape is slightly different. So it's got this ridge here. Again, like the other one, the point is not as, you know, slim as the beauty blender. I like to like kind of put my fingers into that groove, and then I can use this to put my foundation on. It works very well. It does work really well. If you can get your hands on this, then it's definitely worth trying out. In terms of squeeziness, it's a little bit, it's mainly the shape that stops it from being as squishy, but it's almost as squishy as the beauty blender, so that one is a real winner for me if you can find it. An alternative, if you can't find it, is this one. This is by Mehron, and this one is bigger than the Cosmopolitan beauty blender. It's a little bit bigger even than the beauty blender. Again, it's almost like an inflated version of the Cosmopolitan one because it's got the exact same ridge. Again, it's not as slim at the tip as the Beauty Blender one, so anybody with small features or who doesn't have a lot of space might find it difficult to get under their eyes. It's not the end of the world, but I'm just pointing it out in terms of why the Beauty Blender is a bit better. I ordered this from Amazon, but they do have it on Beauty Joint, and when my order came from Amazon it was actually delivered by them, so I could have bought it on Beauty Joint and it would have been the same thing. It's cheap as well, it's a lot cheaper than the Beauty Blender, and in terms of a squeeze test it's not as squishy, but again that's just because it's taller. So that one is another good option as an alternative to the Beauty Blender. I really like that one and the Cosmopolitan one particularly. The next one that I'm going to talk about is by Real Techniques. This is the Real Techniques Miracle Complexion Sponge, I think. This is different to the Beauty Blender, and I kind of like that they did something different. It's got the point, but as you can see it's not as fine a point as the Beauty Blender. I don't think I've seen any sponge that has the slim point that the Beauty Blender does, but it's not that important because it's got this straight side here, so this point here is very sharp and you can get right under your eyes. You can use the flat side to apply your foundation, you can use the sides, like the bouncy sides, to apply it. You can do a lot with this. You've got a few more options with this, so I like that, and I like that it looks different. It's not a complete kind of copy, it's just an alternative. This is very, very affordable, and personally I like it just as much as a Beauty Blender. I would really, really recommend it if you're looking to save some money. This is the one for you. It's fantastic. Again, we'll do the squish test. This is as squishy as a Beauty Blender. Now I'm going to tell you about two sponges that I absolutely hate and I don't think you should go anywhere near. Even just looking at these makes me angry. I'm so angry that I bought these. One of them I've thrown away, and it was from Primark. I threw it away in anger because I was so mad at myself. And that one was like orange, so if you see that one in Primark and it's shaped like this, do not buy it. These are from Forever 21, and I think that I've seen one in H&M, pretty sure it's the exact same type of thing as this. I'm not 100%, I haven't tried the H&M one. I have read a review that said it did not change in size at all and it's like hard, and I pretty much think that all of these stores, Primark, Forever 21, H&M, they're all getting them from the same supplier, just in different colours, and they're awful. Don't waste your money. You can see that all my sponges are nice and clean, I'll get onto that in a minute, and this one is absolutely bloody filthy. This has been washed so much. I put this in the washing machine, I tried everything to get this clean, and that is just infuriating. It's horrible to look at, and it just makes you think you're putting a dirty product on your face. First of all, they're really hard. Like, it's hard to get to that point, and compared to the beautiful Beauty Blender, which, you know, just squishes down effortlessly, this is like, you know, it's like concrete. When you put them underwater, they do not change in size. The mark of a good dupe or alternative to a Beauty Blender is how big and soft and fluffy it gets, and then things like the shape. But the main thing is that it gets bigger and it's soft and pillowy to apply the product. That is the whole point, that this absorbs water and then makes your foundation like perfect. The water literally runs off them. They don't get bigger, nothing happens. So when you put the foundation on this, it's just like sitting there. Not to mention, these are just so rock hard on your face. It's almost painful to apply with it. I know it sounds like I'm being a drama queen, but trust me, this is not pleasant. So you can see, if I take something like the Beauty Blender and I'm applying foundation, it's just kind of like pillowy and cushiony, like a bouncy castle for your face. And then you put something like this on and it's like a stamp. It's not going to work, and it's such a shame because when I saw them I thought they were going to be the same as the Cosmopolitan. They've got the exact same shape. These are devils in disguise. Don't waste your money on them, and they're not going to change underwater. So H&M, Primark and Forever 21, no, nil point. Overall, I think the original Beauty Blender is fantastic. It's quite hard to beat, but the Real Techniques sponge is a really great alternative, and it's innovative with its shape, same kind of texture, and a really, really great bargain as well. After that, I definitely like the Cosmopolitan and the Mehron, and this one that I got from Amazon, I still like this one. I've used it, I like it. It's not as squishy. The shape is similar, but it's not as sort of pillowy, and so that's kind of okay, you know, but the other ones avoid. If you go for the original beauty blender or any of these alternatives, I'm sure you'll be very, very happy with them, and you won't have broken the bank either. I use the Beauty Blender cleanser. This is a sample size that I got. I don't have the full size, but it's essentially like a bar of soap, and you rub your beauty blender on it. I run it under warm water and then I kind of squeeze all the product out, and if you keep repeating that, I've used long-lasting foundations, all different kinds of things, and there's no reason that your makeup won't come out. You can also use antibacterial hand soap, or anything antibacterial will be really, really good, and just get it super squeaky clean. That's what you want. You really need to wash these after every use. I know it seems like such a chore, but honestly, you should wash your face brushes very, very regularly anyway, so it shouldn't be that much of a different thing for you. Wash it, leave it somewhere where it's got plenty of air to dry. You do need to take care of your tools and make sure that they are sanitized, otherwise you're just asking for trouble. You're going to be causing breakouts and problems on your face, and we don't want that. I hope this video helped you. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed to my channel, and then you'll never miss out on new videos. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!